Welcome back, people, to ELAVI Truth TV. This time I'm going to be going into a subject that is quite contentious at this time: racism. Now, in 2019, as many of you know, I was locked up for a period of time. Now, some of the background towards this is to do with a person called Dr. Julie Ridley, who works at UCLan, this character. Now, in 2019, I wrote to Dr. Julie Ridley because my ex-partner, mother of my children, I believed was working for her and was working at UCLan. So I decided that I was going to prosecute my ex-partner for the false allegations of rape that she made against me, and also the alienation of my children. And I did do this. I applied to the High Court to do this, and I sent Julie Ridley, Dr. Julie Ridley, a pre-action letter outlining my case against my ex-partner. I decided to apply to the courts to prosecute her at a place of work rather than a home, because I knew that if I sent any documents to a home, then it could possibly be looked at as some kind of threat, and there was an order against me contacting her. So I was actually arrested for third-party contact because the police stated, and the CPS as well, Crown Prosecution Service, stated that I had actually contacted my ex-partner in violation of a court order. To cut a long story short, Dr. Julie Ridley then fabricated a story to do with two individuals coming into a seminar at the university. And these two individuals were black individuals. And the story and the statement that Dr. Julie Ridley put forward to the police was that because these individuals were black, they had something to do with me, and they had come to do my ex-partner harm, kill her, basically. It may sound ridiculous, which it was, and it actually turned out that these two individuals worked at the university and had done nothing to alert or alarm anybody in terms of violence. So it was basically a stereotypical view that Dr. Ridley was holding against these two individuals based on their colour. And also based on their colour, she attached those two individuals, who I didn't know, to me because of my colour. And the narrative was spun and given in a statement, and it was this narrative that stopped me from getting bail when I was arrested, and ended up spending 5 months in prison until I was able to represent myself in the Crown Court and was found not guilty. Now, Dr. Julie Ridley was one of the witnesses that came when I did cross-examine Dr. Ridley. And what I found with this person was quite a venomous, unrepentant person. She seemed to be quite privileged and elitist, and had a real disdain to the fact that I was actually cross-examining her. And that's why this video is called Dr. Ridley, the Psychology of a Racist. Now recently, because I'm going to take you deeper now. Recently, I always take you deep, I always try and take you deep. Recently there was a story of a video of a person they called her Central Park Karen. Now, I always think that many of these stories can be fabricated in order to stir up racial division and racial unrest. But that's not the issue here, because whether or not this story is a fake one or a real one, it's still designed to plug into the unconscious and subconscious feelings of race that people have been programmed with. Because I'm trying to, via this video, answer some of the questions as to why a person like Dr. Ridley, who I'm supposing if you was to ask her, would never ever say that she was a racist. But due to her actions and due to what her statement was able to do, even though, as I say, she knew that these people, or she came to find out that these people actually worked in the university. So there's two things at play here. The fact that she fabricated a story about me sending two individuals to kill my ex-partner, and also the fact that she couldn't actually believe or come to terms with the fact that 2 black individuals worked in her environment. She must have been saying to herself, we'll have no blacks here, not in this environment, not coming round here eating their jerk chicken and Irish moss while massaging their feet with the cocoa butter, not here. So let's go deeper into this video of Karen, Central Park Karen.
Would you please stop? Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking a picture and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, I'm in the ramble, and there is a man, African-American, he has a bicycle helmet. He is recording me and threatening me.
It's the belief that this individual has that by saying a black individual, she coined him as an African-American, but an African-American is a black person. It's the belief that by just saying this, the authorities will believe, just as in my case, that by saying these words that I had sent black individuals to do harm, it was automatically believed. Why? I'm going to take you back now to 1971, to a high-profile case at the time, which bears some resemblance to the kind of attitudes that are prevalent in these 2 individuals that I've already mentioned, Central Park Karen. And also, I think people missed the fact that this incident happened in a park also notorious for a historical event called the Central Park 5, where 5 black individuals spent an horrendous amount of time in prison for the rape of a white female, which they didn't do. So let's go to this one now. We're going straight away.
And please let me take them. And he said no, he didn't have time because they were in car seats and it was going to take time for me to get them out of the car seat. And he just told me, he said, but I won't hurt them. And he just took off. But he had a gun, and my big thing is they were screaming, hollering, crying, and I'm just scared that he just lost his patience or something.
I plead to the guy, to the man, me and my wife, plead to him to please return our children to us safely and unharmed. We love our children very much, and we want them returned to us safe and sound.
Pray even now for their safe return.
Thank you.
Was last seen wearing a red and white striped outfit and a blue and red coat.
In an investigation where the suspect is unknown, where you don't know where he's liable to turn up, there's not a lot more than you can do is take the complaints, follow up on them, develop your leads, develop your suspects, and rule them out one at a time. It's slow moving. I have to apologize. There's nothing more that can be done for that. But like I say, it's a classic investigation that could not be run any different anywhere else.
I'm heading this way. Yeah.
Pray most of all for them, and that they are being taken care of, and that they are safe, and that they will return home safely.
I want to say to my baby that your mama loves you so much, and your daddy, this whole family love you so much. And you guys have got to be strong, because you are, I just know, I just feel in my heart that you're okay, but you got to take care of each other.
Susan, yesterday I know authorities searched your house inside, outside, underneath. Were you there at the time, and do you know what they were looking for?
No, ma'am, I was not there, and I do not know. I did agree, sign a form for them to do that. I was aware they were going to do that, and I understand that's just one of the normalities they have to do in any investigation.
Sources close to the investigation, Susan, have told NBC News that federal agents are focusing, in fact, on the relationship between you and Mitchell Sinclair, the man that you were going to visit that night, the man you said you were going to visit with your children. They've told NBC that there were inconsistencies in your stories. Do you know what inconsistencies they were referring to?
No, ma'am, I really do not know that, but...
Tomorrow marks a somber anniversary in South Carolina. It's been 25 years since Susan Smith killed her 2 young sons by strapping them inside her car and rolling it into John D. Long Lake in Union County.
Now that night, she told police that a black man carjacked her and her vehicle with her sons still inside. As you heard, 3-year-old Michael and 1-year-old Alex. After 9 days, though, Susan Smith finally confessed, saying she did it herself. Smith is now serving a life sentence at Leith Correctional in Greenwood and is eligible for parole, believe it or not, in 2024.
Folks in the black community tonight tell me that there will be much healing to be done here, and it's going to take quite a while. Let's listen now to some folks, both black and white, how they feel that this healing will take place here in Union County.
They're always accusing black people of doing things that they do themselves.
Anytime you say black man and white woman, it's all over. You know, I mean, that's my opinion. Anytime you say a black man, that's it. And that's why a lot of us are single now. All of our men are locked up. Some of them are innocent.
She wouldn't have testified that she done it. They still would be looking for this suspect. And she could, you know, have got away with it.
I feel like the reason that she did that was because it was an easy way.
One thing I want you to look at here is the fact that the individual just spoke, said that she did it because it was easy to do it. So Sharon Smith had a belief that it would be believable that a black person would do this kind of horrendous evil. Why? Well, the proposition that I'm putting forward is because of the indoctrination and the long-held belief in the savage within the black person, the black male. And I want to take you back to 1915. One of the first films that was ever made was called Birth of the Nation by the Ku Klux Klan, and in it we see this image. Basically what we have here is the archetype of the savage, the evil, that's represented not just by his maleness, his masculinity, but also his colour, a dark, savage evil that is a predator. And we see that played out. And basically what this film was trying to portray was that a nation will be brought to its knees because of the black savage. But there is one film that I think is the archetypal film that embodied this kind of ideology, which has been prevalent since then. 1933, I believe. King Kong.
Any words yet? I'm not sure. It sounds something like the language the Nias Islanders speak.
What do you suppose is happening?
Oh, they're up to some of their heathen tricks. But don't go rushing out to sea.
All right, but isn't it exciting?
Sure. I wish we'd left you on the ship.
Oh, I'm so glad you did.
Wait, easy now. Wait till I see what goes on.
Holy mackerel, what a show. Hey, Skipper, come here and get a load of this. Ever seen anything like that before in your life?
The idea of this film, or the themes behind it, is people from the civilization of the West, America, going into the dark, deep jungle where savages are found. Savages that sacrifice females. Now, when they're sacrificing females, they decide that the pinnacle of the female is the white female, and they decide to sacrifice the white female to the black savage, the monster, King Kong. During their adventure, the animal is subdued and brought back to civilization. Similar to the ideas to do with slavery in a sense. But the animal's brought back to civilization where it wreaks havoc. Ultimately, the savage is destroyed atop a phallic symbol where the white males fly around and destroy the animal. It falls to its death. There's a part in the final scene of the film where it says, it wasn't the bullets or something like this that killed King Kong, it was the female that killed him. The beauty. Beauty and the Beast, in fact. Now, the idea of the symbolic black male being destroyed is not because the black male is viewed as human, but viewed as less than human, subhuman. And this will bring me to the issue to do with when, after the Windrush era, when black people were first being shipped into the country to help build up the economic nature of the country, where what you'd find when black people used to try and find homes was a sign that said this: no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. Now obviously Irish people have had a long history with the English, and this was part of why Irish people were excluded and looked at as less. And we also find that these people had stereotypes attached with them being stupid and so forth, which doesn't really prevail much anymore. But the idea of a dog and a black person was quite prevalent early on. Now this is one of the UK's quite iconic films, The Dam Busters, and in it we see this scene.
Nigger! Come on, boy! Come on, nigger! Come on, nigger! Come on up, fella. Well, you won't have to wait for me for a long, long time. No, you won't.
Here what we're seeing is the symbolic representation of a dog being the equivalent of a man, a black man. And obviously we're using the negative terminology, nigger, which for some people seems to be a hard word for people to say. However, a lot of black people has internalized this hate, and we hear this day in, day out in the music that we use, which is another issue that needs to go deeply into. But I'm just dropping little seeds for people at the moment, because time permitting, I need to stick to the themes. Another type of imagery that has been pervasive throughout, the centuries to do with black males has been the blackface, minstrels. Rather than talk about it, let me show you some images.
As you may have heard, NBC Today host Megyn Kelly's show was canceled this past week following her on-air remarks expressing acceptance of blackface. It's a racist show business practice most of us thought was long gone. But as Maurice Dubois is about to tell us, blackface has a long history in our country. And we caution you, his report unavoidably includes many offensive and disturbing images.
It happens all too frequently, often at Halloween, but not exclusively.
They thought it was a joke, but it really just was not funny at all.
For example, 2 years ago in Maplewood, New Jersey.
Her daughter posted this photo of herself and a friend in blackface.
The two girls had no idea what blackface was or the history of it.
The history of blackface is long and complex and deeply ingrained in our culture.
Who was that lady I saw you with this afternoon?
That was no lady. That was my wife.
Even Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd blacked up.
Fantastic, isn't it? Run all night.
For more than 100 years, white and then black performers wore dark makeup and created not only a popular theatrical form, but stereotypes that are still with us today.
This makes you uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It does make me feel uncomfortable to talk about these things because they are incredibly disturbing and revolting.
Eric Lott, a professor at the Graduate Center of the City University of New York, says blackface represents a strange mix of envy, fascination, desire, and fear.
Explain the fear part to me. What are these white performers, what are these white people afraid of?
They're afraid of black groups, mobs, rising up and taking the power.
Minstrel shows began in the 1830s, and white performers used burnt cork or later black grease paint. Minstrelsy eventually became the most popular form of entertainment in the country.
The individual being interviewed there mentioned fear, which is the driving force behind a lot of this racism. But there's also the images of degrading and making mockery of the black individual. And we see this very prevalent in the next film I'm going to show you, which in this day and age could never have been made, but in 1986 it was. And it tells the story of a white college student who pretends to be a black person, appropriates the culture, appropriates the body by using, I think it was some kind of injection or so forth to turn his skin black. It's a ridiculous proposition, but at the same time, it highlights the stereotypes. And in this scene, we see some of those stereotypes playing out again in a form of mockery.
Raspberry tart, Mark?
Oh, no, thank you. I really couldn't eat another bite. All my life, I've only been able to think about one thing. White women. And now, at last, I'm going to have one.
Bundy Dunbar, how many times have I asked you not to watch that thing at the dinner table?
Daddy, did I tell you Mark's going to Harvard Law School on scholarship?
Yes, you did.
Go get my heroin and my hypodermic needle, bitch. Give me some more watermelon while you're at it.
Yes, dear.
White fat-ass slut. What you looking at?
The degenerate, the over-sexualized, predatory male. We see these stereotypes being played out here and being pushed forward in the media, which have gone on for time immemorial. But the one stereotype that I'd like to come back to is the evil. In this image, we see LeBron James, a man at the top of his game. And we see that they have used this image, which I think was done sometime in the 2000s, 2005 or something like this, correct me if I'm wrong. And we see that LeBron James has been pictured with a white female, and it is the symbolic imagery that is taken from the classic film King Kong. And I know it won't escape you also that positioned behind him is the devil horns, symbolic of evil. Interesting, is it not? Now this theme of evil has been portrayed time and time again throughout history. This ad from Benetton is a vital image in portraying the duality that has been put forward of the evil that is perpetuated by the white male and the purity that is perpetuated by the white individual. Is it any wonder then that white people are able to view the black male as less than human, evil? Well, let's go a little bit deeper, because I don't want anybody to think that I'm just picking out certain images and that these themes don't actually run through the media. So let me go to a few other films. Here we have a film called Jesus Christ Superstar, in which the arch enemy of the Christ figure is Judas. Now we all know the story of Judas. Judas is the betrayer who betrays the Son of God, basically. And in this depiction, the Judas figure is portrayed by a black individual. We go now to Unbreakable, in which we have an individual who is also a saviour figure. He's unbreakable. In this scene, we see him taking on his kind of saviour mantle.
Very long. It's all right to be afraid, David, because this part won't be like a comic book. Real life doesn't fit into little boxes that were drawn for it.
And his arch enemy is Mr. Glass.
I think this is where we shake hands.
I worked in that building 25 years. I know all its secrets.
Secrets?
Like, if there ever was a fire on floors 1, 2, or 3, everyone in that hotel would be burned alive.
Passengers aren't allowed in there.
Played by Samuel L. Jackson, a black individual that's quite prominent in Hollywood. We all know him from many, many films and depictions of black individuals, and has played many black people. In this, he plays the arch enemy, an embodiment of evil. And let's go to this film called Demolition Man. Sylvester Stallone, an iconic action hero of the 80s, I believe. Still doing his thing now, I think. Just a little bit older and hopefully a little bit wiser. And his arch enemy is Wesley Snipes, who plays a character called Simon Phoenix, who again is depicted as the villain in the society, as an entity that can actually bring down society if the saviour figure, Stallone, isn't brought back to annihilate the black demon.
At the end of a century, ravaged by violence, a society of perfect order will arise. Criminals will be frozen and reprogrammed in cryogenic prisons.
The prisoners are ice cubes. Their criminal instincts are being reprogrammed as they sleep.
Aggression and deviant behavior will be totally eliminated.
He's a criminal the likes of which you have never seen. In a bad time, he was the worst.
I'm gonna love running this place. But in the year 2032,
This morning, Simon Phoenix escaped from this cryo facility. We are, quite frankly, not equipped to deal with the situation.
a amidst a world of peace and calm.
We're police officers. We're not trained for this kind of violence.
How was the fiendish Simon Phoenix apprehended back in the 20th?
In the end, it took just one man, John Spartan.
You mean the Demolition Man?
The conditions of your parole are full reinstatement into the SAPD and immediate assignment to the apprehension of Simon Phoenix.
Two mortal enemies
Just dropped in to say hi.
from another time
Pass is over, John. Time for something new and improved. Oh, hell.
will be unleashed on a future that isn't big enough for the both of them. Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, Demolition Man.
The same character, Wesley Snipes, played the dark black friend of the new Michael Jackson, who in his film, it was a music video, but it also was a film directed by Martin Scorsese, when he revealed his new lighter persona, in which he played a young college student who was breaking ties with his urban environment where he'd grown up. And the protagonist in the video was Wesley Snipes. Again, Michael was trying to show a kind of symbolic good versus bad, and the album was called Bad. We'll take a look. Along with hip-hop videos and the urban agenda, which was first brought to prevalence by a group called NWA, Niggas with Attitude, this was the first time we had gangster rap, so to speak, and the idea of bitches and hoes was pushed onto the black creative agenda. We also had a film called Candyman, and we'll take a look at this and see if the same themes run through this.
Candyman? They whisper his name.
Right. Candyman.
It's just a story. Candyman?
Candyman.
Just a ghost story.
Candyman.
We're here looking for Candyman, bitch.
Step back. Number 4, step forward and set a line.
We're here, you're looking for Candyman, bitch.
Step back. Number 5, step forward and set a line.
We hear you looking for Candyman, bitch.
Step back, take him out.
Do I know you?
No. But you doubted me.
I'm sorry, I have to go.
No need to leave yet.
But I'm late.
You are not content with the stories, so I was obliged to come. Be my victim. Be my victim. I am the writing on the wall, the whisper in the classroom. Without these things, I am nothing. So now I must shed innocent blood. Come with me.
In the second film of, I think it was a trilogy, I could be wrong, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the second film of the Candyman series, we see the origins of Candyman, which is interesting because it takes it back to none other than slavery. So this great evil was born of slavery, and similar to the ideology of King Kong, where this evil has come from Africa more or less, because that's where people of this colour are supposed to have come from. So we tie it back to slavery, where this great evil, this urban evil, is born. We'll take a look.
I was not always this way. This is who I've become. You must see what they did. My only sin was to love Caroline and to give her a daughter. They took everything from me, Annie.
Let me go.
My family.
You think you can get away from us?
My child. My life.
Where is it?
Be my witness. See how I became the reflection of their hatred. Their evil. See what it means to call me by that name.
Candyman. 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 Sweet to the sweet.
Of all the black devils that have graced the cinema screens, I guess we can go to one of the most iconic, and before Hollywood decided to destroy the franchise, we can go to the iconic Star Wars, in which we have a savior figure, a young savior figure in the body of Anakin Skywalker, who is seduced by the dark side of the Force to become an individual called Darth Vader, embodiment of evil basically, the dark side of the Force, and is voiced by a black man. Now the symbology here is clear to some, and some people would say that I'm reaching, but let's listen to this individual speak a little bit about it.
Really?
Oh.
You could?
Yeah, like the part where he was totally a black guy whose name basically was James Earl Jones, who,
Right.
and we were, and but while he was black, he was terrible and bad and awful and used to cut off white men's hands and didn't, you know, actually claim his son. But as soon as he claims his son and goes over to the good, he takes off his mask and he is white. Oh yes, I have many feelings about that, but I will try to put them over here. Why?
Before I close this latest edition of ELAVI Truth TV, I'd like to go to one of the pinnacle murders that happened in the UK. Along with Stephen Lawrence, we have another individual in Liverpool that changed the landscape to do with race relations. A young individual who was walking home with his cousin and his young white girlfriend. We'll take a look.
18-year-old Anthony Walker lived in Huyton. He's been described as a popular young man with a love for sports, music and the arts. He was on his summer break just after finishing his AS levels when he was attacked and killed right near his home here in McGoldrick Park on the 29th of July 2005. At around 11 p.m, Anthony was walking with his cousin Marcus Binns and his girlfriend Louise Thompson to a bus stop close to the Huyton Park pub. It was here that 17-year-old Michael Barton and his cousin 20-year-old Paul Taylor launched a verbal attack at Anthony and his friends. Without retaliation, the three friends decided to take a shortcut to another bus stop through McGoldrick Park in order to avoid any conflict. But Barlow and Taylor went ahead to confront the group at the park. Anthony's girlfriend and cousin managed to escape, but Anthony couldn't get away. It was at that moment that Taylor administered a devastating blow to Anthony's head with an ice axe. Anthony's cousin came back to help him, but there was little he could do. He was taken to Whiston Hospital and then transferred to Walton Neurological Centre, where he was pronounced dead on the 30th of July at 5:20 in the morning.
Folks, my short and I hope eloquent education on the nature of racism and how ideas have been placed within our consciousness, be it black or white people. Now, we're living in a time where obviously there's a lot of racial tension due to recent events, and I don't need to go into this. In future videos I'm going to be going deeper into certain aspects, because it's my job to try and hopefully get people to analyse their thinking and get people to look at what they're doing and where the thinking that they embody as being their own thoughts, where that's actually come from. Now, some people might not like me doing videos like this, some people will like me doing videos like this. That isn't the point. The point is this: I don't monetize this channel. The reason being is because it's about truth. And I think once I start monetizing a truth channel, then I'll dilute the truth. So the agenda of this channel is not to make money, it's about putting out ideas to make people think. And a friend said to me the other day that only by analysing our internal world we'll be able to change the external world. Now, a lot of people are protesting at the moment, trying to make change in the outer world. But I mentioned a guy earlier, Michael Jackson, who wrote a song called The Man in the Mirror. Now, obviously there's a lot of stuff to do with Michael that's not too pleasant, and the jury at the moment is out on that, and maybe in a future video I'll go into that, you know, the darker aspects of MJ himself. But let's strip away all that for a minute, because I know black people have been giving Michael a pass for a long time. So I'm going to ask you to give him a pass one more time and check out the man and the woman in the mirror, because we started off by talking about Julie Ridley, who I believe to be a racist. Now, I'm not angry at her. I'm not bothered really, because I won't be ripping down any statues of her, put it that way. I mean, some could say that me putting a picture of her up here is a way of ripping down her, in a sense. But no, I'm just showing you what happened and what could have happened to me. If I wasn't a fighter in the system and was able to destroy her testimony in the Crown Court, maybe I would be locked in prison now. So, to finish this episode, I would like to play out with one final video, which also shows the stereotypes that black males face and the stereotypes that some white people still have deep within their subconscious. The stereotypes that I'm hoping to shed light on and change. Let's go in. I'll see you soon on another episode of ELAVI Truth TV.
Please move, ma'am.
I can.
Okay.
Do you live here?
I'll re-answer that question, excuse me.
I'm sorry. The keypad is right there.
I understand that, ma'am.
You can film me. That's fine.
I understand, ma'am, but you're blocking me.
Into my building.
Okay, and
okay.
it's my building as well, so I need you to get out my way.
Okay, what unit?
I don't need to tell you that information. So excuse me, ma'am.
I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, you can be uncomfortable. That's your discretion. You're uncomfortable because you're you. I need you to move out my way, please.
No.
Ma'am, please stop touching me.
I'm not touching you.
You just was previously before.
I'm not touching you at all.
So I'm going to step in.
I'm not touching you, and I'm not in any way doing anything outside of letting my dog go to the bathroom.
Okay, and I live here and you're blocking the door.
What unit?
I don't need to tell you that. What unit do you live in?
307.
Okay, great. I'm on the 4th floor. Excuse me.
No. You don't have a key fob. You are... No.
No.
If you have that, then okay.
Ma'am, you're not security. You're not the property manager. You're not Mike Herman.
No, but I live here.
Okay, and I live here too. You're not Mike Herman. You're not Rick.
I don't like the fact you have your phone in my face.
Okay, I don't like the fact that you're blocking me for where I pay.
All I'm asking is what unit?
But you're not. I don't need to tell you that information, ma'am.
If you want to come into my building.
It's not your building. You're not the owner. You pay rent.
Sir, you walked up on a street.
Yes, and I've already buzzed in. I've already
You
used
did
my...
not.
Okay, man, it does not even matter. Can you get out of my way?
No. Can you show me the key
I
fob
don't
into this
get, I'm
building?
not showing you anything. And the second, ma'am, I'm bound to walk through where I live at, so.
No.
Okay.
Can you show me the key fob
Excuse me.
into this? No.
Excuse me.
No.
Excuse me.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
Call the police, whatever you want to do.
Where are you going? Do you have a key fob that looks like this? You can film all you want. I'm not being rude. I'm not being disrespectful. You walked into a building that I was taking my dog out and pushed your way in. No. Who are you going up to the fourth floor to see? No, I want to know who you're going to see.
So now you're gonna follow me.
I am.
Why?
Because I would like to know who's friends and why you're here.
Because I live here.
And if you do, then I would like to meet you because you're a neighbor. And
You didn't start off on a good note. I don't want to do no dealings with you. I'm going to my house. I'm going to my house where I live at, where I pay.
I would like to introduce myself then as a neighbor. I would like to introduce myself.
I do not want to speak with you. Please stop following me. I'm going to call the cops for harassment. That's my next step. You just follow me all the way to my door.
As a player.
And you see my keys in the door. That is so, that...
As a record, I just want to say hi.
Ma'am,
What is your name?
ma'am, you just, no. Have a good night, ma'am. Don't ever do that again. You look pretty stupid on video. Have a nice night. And my name's Mr. Tolles. Thank you.